From Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, this is TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm staff writer Jacob Turner, and alongside me, as he always is, THI publisher Andrew Jones. And Andrew, about an hour ago, maybe a little bit less than an hour ago, things kind of went pretty fast back there for once. We didn't have to sit around. We didn't have to sit around and wait for the coach or the players to get out. Pretty quick, Carolina on this field right here beat NC State 41-10. Can honestly say I did not see that one coming, and I think AJ, if we begin to break down this game, we have to start with the third quarter. 10-6 at halftime. Not really a ton to talk about. Carolina didn't play great. Looked a little bit flat. State played with a little bit more emotion than Carolina did overall. I think even Max said that in his post-game press conference. But Carolina in that third quarter, I mean, outscored them 28-0. Had over 200 yards total offense. I think State had like less than 100. I want to say it was 87, but don't quote me on that. But Carolina just looked the better team. I mean, they just looked like they turned up a switch and, never really looked back after that. Forced 3 turnovers too.
Sam Howell had 216 yards passing in the first half. They had 2 field goals to show for it.
Yeah.
They weren't dotting their I's or crossing their T's. And in order to win a game like this, you have to do that. State was a little bit more so, but didn't in the second half, particularly the third quarter that you alluded to. Tar Heel scored 28 points in about a 10-minute stretch. Mm-hmm. They scored after getting a punt. And then they scored after 3 turnovers. This team has not been getting turnovers this year, and they haven't been scoring after getting turnovers this year because they just haven't done a whole lot of that. They've had to win sort of with the special teams element not really aiding them a whole lot, and they did that today. Sam was amazing. Javonte Williams exploded in the third quarter. I just asked Sam 10 minutes ago when I finished that interview what was different about Javonte, and he said, well, Javonte just stepped up his game, but he also credited the offensive line. Offensive line was not very good in the first half. No. Brian Anderson got blown up a couple times. Sam got sacked 3 times in the first half. Offensive line was fantastic in the second half. Every part of this team excelled in the third quarter. And I asked a couple of guys, was it a matter of time? Offense had been kind of knocking on the door at times, defense had knocked on the door at times, but tonight in the third quarter, both sides of the line of scrimmage and special teams, to a lesser degree, they weren't emphatic, but they didn't screw up. Everything came to a head, and what this team can do on the high end, we saw, and they decimated an NC State team that had no answers for it. And some of the guys even said, Javonte said, the body language of the NC State players as that third quarter was unfolding told him they knew they were going to walk away with a W. Yeah, and you spoke about Sam Howell, I think, when you first started talking about that third quarter blitz. And, Sam Howell just, it seems like we talk about him after every Carolina win especially, but he just keeps getting better and better every week. Season high 401 yards on the night, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Sam Howell had a really, really good game. He hit a few deep balls to Diami, especially that one in the touchdown right over there. If we could turn the camera on, you see the exact spot Diami caught that one. I can see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That was a beautiful pass.
Take my word for it. He's pointing to the right spot.
It was a beautiful little pitch and catch from the Diami. But I mean, Sam Howell, like I said, we talk about him after every game, but we kind of have to. He just seems like his play just kind of keeps getting better and better as games go by.
Threw a pick in the first half. That was a poor throw. It was a poor decision and a poor throw. So there were 2 strikes on that one. But Max said that Sam, and he said this all year long, whether Sam is getting pummeled, like sacked, whether Sam is throwing interceptions or missing guys or guys are dropping passes, or whether he's throwing 55-yard touchdown passes, he's the same. I mean, it's not robotic, but it certainly is so programmed that this guy knows how to handle whatever takes place on the field. And that's why we've seen him struggle at times and find ways to overcome that and make plays. Even in the Virginia game, he completed 10 passes, but he threw for like 278 yards or something like that because at least he made big plays. When he refines other elements of his game and just simply gains more experience and more maturity, this guy's going to be sensational. And he's already borderline sensational. 3 or more touchdown passes in 6 of the last 7 games. The guy has been phenomenal. It's really kind of a treat to watch him go through this course this season. I remember back in early after one of the first couple of games when we did one of these videos, I mentioned Phillip Rivers, who played in this stadium. And I covered a lot of his games in this stadium when I was with the Star News. And Phillip had a moxie and had a way where he didn't let the bad stuff get to him too much and didn't let the good stuff kind of make him think, hey, we really have arrived. Sam just has that keep going at it mentality where no matter what, you got to plug away and go back at it and go back at it. And his demeanor is such that the offense doesn't get stressed when things aren't going well. And, man, when it started getting going in the third quarter, he was sensational. Daz Newsome was sensational. De'Ami Brown was sensational. Bo Corrales caught some balls thrown right to him.
Yeah.
Javante was amazing, the offensive line, the defense. But, Sam, you guys, you Carolina fans out there should really, really appreciate what you have for 2 more years because he's special.
Yeah, he is.
I don't say guys are great and special very often, and I'm not yet going to call him great. I think he's knocking on that door, and he might be great next year, but he's certainly a special player.
Yeah, and with this win, Carolina obviously finishing 6-6 on the season. Now bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. I know you were at that bowl, weren't you, AJ? Way out in El Paso?
I didn't because I had to cover the basketball team.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Was in Atlanta for New Year's Eve day, and I already had my flight, and I couldn't figure out a way to get from El Paso to Atlanta in time for the game.
That's a tough one. I'd probably rather go to Atlanta than El Paso. But
we went the stringer route on that one.
Yeah, exactly. But Carolina, first time since 2016 that they're bowl eligible. And I mean, AJ, I think at one point in the season, we thought that was going to be an easy goal for this team to attain. They started off, 2-0 on the year. They kind of dropped off a little bit and really had to fight and claw to even get to this position in the first place. So really good sign. I asked Nick Polino after the game, and he said, it's just big for the program moving forward. Obviously, it's big for the seniors. A lot of the fifth-year seniors went, in those 2015, 2016 years. But as a program, just to be able to get to that bowl-eligible spot, hopefully it's not in Shreveport, Louisiana. We've talked about this before.
We don't think it's going to be now.
We're thinking, we can speculate all we want. Maybe Charlotte, maybe Annapolis, but Carolina's going. I think Carolina's just happy to, even if it's in Shreveport. I think Carolina will just be happy to go bowling, regardless.
6-6 could really mean a lot of things.
It really can
to a lot of different teams. There are some teams that play a crap schedule, and 6-6 is you scheduled your way into a bowl with a bad team. Carolina only played one. They played Mercer, that bad FCS team, but the rest of the schedule was very competitive. App State, South Carolina, and Wake Forest were the non-conference, other non-conference games, and then having to come here against State on Senior Day, and it's never an easy place to come for them to win. And they managed to win 6 games, and I would say, given the circumstances, the 5 FBS wins they have are all really good wins.
Oh yeah.
And this team earned 6-6, especially when you look at how they lost so many games. They were in there. They've been in every game or won every game. So 6-6, it's probably who they are because, as we've said a few times before, they're good enough to be in a lot of games, but not good enough to win them all the time every week because they don't have enough personnel. They're still missing a couple players here, a couple players there, some depth here and some depth there. That will come with time. But tonight they had enough guys.
Yeah, they definitely
And
did.
they had superior guys, and those superior guys did superior things. They got them to the 6th win. This is a tremendous accomplishment for Mac. When he took over this program, he told us in that press conference, I'm going to tell the seniors that our goal is to go to a bowl. We're going to win now. A lot of coaches come in and they kind of brush the so-so seniors aside, and they put younger players in there, and they give themselves a mulligan, basically, for the year. We're losing with young guys. We got to get our guys in here. Max never said that.
No.
He's never said we got to get my guys in here. We never said we're building only building for the future. They set out to win from day one. They achieved that. They gave a senior class that came to this place when they were winning 11 games and they were going to bowl games, and Larry had that thing on a different trajectory, and then everything fell apart. Now they get to leave. No matter what happens in the bowl game, they get to leave having achieved this, and Mac delivered. It wasn't a promise. It was a near promise, and he delivered. And the effect of that is how much these kids can completely buy into whatever the staff tells them, in particular whatever he tells them. So if you think you've seen a lot of progress in year 1, as long as the parts are here, they're going to continue to make this kind of progress in year 2. And in year 3, I think this program is going to be ready to do what the 2015 team did. And I think maybe be a better team, and they'll have to do it against a tougher schedule.
Yeah, absolutely, AJ. It's going to be fun to watch this program continue to develop over the years. But when we first walked into Carter-Finley, we didn't know if we'd have a chance to cover another Carolina football game this year, but we do. We'll obviously be back with y'all whenever that bowl game is. And next week, obviously, Carolina basketball playing, not Virginia. They play Virginia on Sunday, and then Ohio State before that on Wednesday. So we'll be back with you then. But for TarHeelIllustrated.com, I'm staff writer Jacob Turner, THI publisher Andrew Jones. UNC 41, NC State 10 on this field. And guys, we will see you next week. Thanks.